You sent me away to marry a younger woman. I left with 8 children, including a newborn, to a place I didn't know. We had no shelter, no food, and no money, so we slept outside in the sun and rain. We had nothing to eat and no money for the girls' school fees. My small business wasn't enough, so I did small jobs and borrowed money. Some nights I stayed up all night worrying about how we would eat the next day. Life was really hard, but I thank God I got through it. In the heart of Giwa village, where the sun shone bright and the earth was fertile, lived Gentle, a hardworking farmer who planted yams and cassava on his farm. Gentle lived a simple yet fulfilling life. He woke up each day before the sun rose, grabbing his hoe and heading out to his fields, where the soil was rich and ready to bear fruits. Gentle felt a sense of peace and pride as he sowed his seeds and nurtured his crops. His hard work had earned him a reputation as the most diligent farmer in the village, and he took great pleasure in providing for his family and community. He cultivates them in vast quantities. On each market days he takes his harvested crop to the local market to sell. His village, Giwa, and other neighboring villages know him for his hard work and consistency. He sometimes supplies to market women outside his villages. He has many acres of land, some he inherited from his late father and others he bought, and he kept expanding his business and farming. His reputation for quality produce has earned him the trust of market women both within and outside his village. During farming seasons, he employs workers to help him farm and he pays them for their work. This is to enable him to meet up with the high demand. Gentle married his beautiful wife May, and together they have 7 beautiful daughters. Their daughter took after their mother's qualities, full of beauty and kindness. Despite their joy in raising their daughters, Gentle and his wife have been hoping to give birth to a boy, but each time May gives birth, it is another beautiful daughter. When May gave birth to the 7th girl, Gentle heard it was a girl and was angry. He didn't go to the hospital to see the mother and the newborn. When May later came back home, she didn't find her husband home. Gentle disappeared. He left his home to stay with his friend drinking palm wine. "Joe, my friend, am tired of these girl children my wife keeps giving birth. It hurts me so much that as a big farmer in this village of Giwa, I don't have a male child, someone to call my junior. I am pained and not happy at all. I would like to stay in your house for a few days before going back to that house of female children." "Okay, my friend," his friend replied. "You know you are my very good friend and I can do anything for you. My house is your house. Feel free to stay as long as you like. Moreover, my wife is traveling to see her family and will not be back anytime soon." Gentle stayed in his friend's house for 3 weeks before he returned home, wrestling with his emotions and contemplating his next steps. When Gentle finally came home, he didn't even bother to see his wife and the newborn. He just returned to his normal farming activities. May, instead of being happy for a successful childbirth, will sob and cry for days to weeks. Even when she cooks and serves her husband, Gentle will not touch the food. This will make May unhappy. For 6 long months, this strained relationship continued. Gradually, gentleness began to soften as the husband-wife relationship became as normal as it had been in the beginning. Gentle and May became best friends again. The family was filled with love and laughter once again, making them one happy family. May started noticing changes in her body, and after a few months and later confirmed she was pregnant. He noticed she was pregnant. She was so afraid even to let the good news out to her husband. They fear what the husband might say negatively if she gives birth to another girl child. Worries her so much. Her belly started coming out and it was obvious that she was pregnant. One day, as she walked past Gentle, he looked at her and said, "May, I have been noticing changes. You're pregnant, aren't you?" Why didn't you tell me? Not so, my husband, I want to, am so afraid of how to go about telling you. She replied, her voice trembling. Mr. Gentle's face darkened with anger. I hope you're not bringing another female child into this house. I'm tired of wasting my money on educating girls. The place of women is in the kitchen, getting married, and starting their own families. You, this woman, am tired of these girl children you are giving birth to all the time. If you give birth to another girl child, I will send you packing. My husband doesn't say that all children are equal, whether boys or girls, and there is no special importance for the boy child. Moreover, is God who gives children, not me, and whenever God says it should be, that is what is it. I don't care, I simply want a male child, okay, who will inherit my farmland and other properties when I'm old, and all these girls get married out to their husband's house. Even among my kinsmen, I cannot talk, they keep insulting me that I'm a man of many daughters. I am so ashamed. No one to help me extensively with my farm work. Girls are not as strong as boys to assist me on my farm. May was so sober and her eyes were filled with tears. She cried and cried, but Gentle never bothered to look her corner. My husband and girl child are priceless, don't underestimate them. May was devastated. She cried for days, her heart heavy with sorrow. She prayed fervently, asking God to bless her with a boy to bring back happiness to her home. Whenever she cried, her daughters would gather around her, wiping away her tears and comforting her with their small hands and innocent words to cheer her up. Mommy, don't worry, we'll make you proud, we will go to school and become big in society, and the world will hear of us. They would say. I know my children, I thank God for having beautiful souls like you all, and I don't have any regret whatsoever. I see you all as a big star. Dream big, my girls, your thoughts with works will come to pass. Thank you for these kinds of words. Words like this are like an ice block to melt the wound in her heart, and she will become joyful again. Despite the girl's efforts, May couldn't shake the fear that haunted her every day. She knew that another girl child might push Gentle further away, and the thought was unbearable. My God, please give me a boy child to return this lost happiness in my home, she would pray. May sells foodstuff in the village market. She struggles daily, even during her pregnancy, to make sure she goes to the market to support the family. As May's pregnancy progressed, she focused on her daily tasks, trying to maintain a sense of normalcy for her daughters. Each day, she would tend to the household chores, cook meals, and care for the children. Her eldest daughter, Ava, who was now 14, often helped her with the younger ones. Ava had inherited her mother's kindness and beauty, and she had acquired strength that belied her young age. One evening, as May was preparing dinner, Ava approached her. Mama, are you okay? You seem so tired lately, Ava said, her eyes filled with concern. May smiled weakly. I'm fine, Ava. Just a bit tired from the pregnancy. But don't worry about me, I will be fine, she smiled. How are your sisters? They are playing outside, Ava replied. Mama, why is Papa angry with us all? May's smile faded. She looked into Ava's eyes, seeing the worry mirrored in her own heart. No, my daughter, Papa is not angry with us, he is only having a bad moment this period. Don't worry, things will be fine soon. Go check on your siblings, it's getting late, bring them in, let them take their bath, and eat. The days went by slowly, and May's due date drew closer. Despite the tension in May household grew. May has a good friend named Lillian, they have been best of friends for a long time. Lillian visited May, her friend, and noticed that she was not as pleasant as always. She asked her friend to tell her the issue. May was trying to hide her feelings from her friend Lillian, but couldn't anymore as she saw that Lillian was determined to help. They have been friends from the days of their single days before they both got married. They now still friends and share most of their problems. Lillian, my friend, May said, I'm really worried. I'm pregnant, but I'm also afraid. What if I give birth to a baby girl? Gentle, my husband will not be happy. He just wants a baby boy and not a girl anymore. I want my family happy again like before. Don't worry, my friend there. Let not your heart be troubled. There is always a solution to everything. Your family will be happy again, and you will give birth to a baby boy. How? How? May said, I will take you to a local doctor. He has helped several people with similar problems and even people with more problems than you. I know he will help you out, and your family will be happy once more. I'm your friend and cannot mislead you. Okay, my friend, I trust you and know you will not mislead me, May said, smiling. The next day, May closed her shop earlier. She and her friend Lillian set out to meet the local doctor, and when they got there, they entered his chambers. The herbalist should, I know why you are here already. The spirit revealed to me that a certain woman looking for a male child will visit me. You have only girl children, and you are even pregnant again now. Hearing these words, May and Lillian looked at each other in surprise. Lillian smiled and whispered, I told you he is good. He even knows our problems without mentioning. May nodded and smiled back. Yes, sir, she replied, all that you said is very true. Please help me, sir. My husband is trying to marry another wife and even send me packing. The herbalist started his incarnation by turning to one corner. He said words that they didn't understand, and after a while he said to the two women, you have come to the right place. You are welcome. I have your solution, but you need to do something. Yes, do something. Woman, he said, facing May, you need to bathe naked in the marketplace at midday for 3 days. Only so will your help come and your solution granted. May was furious hearing these words. Bath in the marketplace? Place that is too much, sir. Are there any other alternatives? Please, no other alternative. You need to do this only. May and Lillian left the herbalist's house worried. May told her friend she could not do that. It was not proper, she said. Take some time, my friend, think about it first. You may still change your mind and do it. The herbalist is a good man. He has been into these things for a while and has gathered plenty of experience. I have also heard testimony from the customers he helped in the past. Think about it, my friend. You will not regret it. I thought you were my friend, Lillian. If you were in my shoes, would you do the same thing you and your herbalist are asking of me? This time May was not finding the situation funny anymore. May got home and was pondering about what the herbalist had said. She pictured herself naked in a very busy marketplace where people from different lives come in to trade. No, I can't do that. This is too much. I can't. I am ready to take whatever comes with giving birth to a girl or a boy. All kids are precious and should be celebrated equally. One day Sophia and Ella came back early from school and met their father. Gentle, Daddy, our teacher sent us back home because of school fees. Go and meet your mother. I am not going to pay school fees for any girl child again since your mother keeps giving birth to female children like her. Let her also cater to them. I'm tired. Any day she births a male child, I will pay school fees, but what is the need? Girl child doesn't even require education, because very soon you will be married to your various husband. When Sophia and Ella went to the market to meet their mum in the market, she was very surprised to see them because it was still morning and classes will still be on. My children, why do you come back so early? Mummy, our teachers sent us back because our school fees have not been paid. Then meet your father, he is at home, tell him he will pay. May said, we already met him. She said he will not pay for any girl child fees. These words brought tears to Mrs. May. She wondered why the husband would tell his kids such hurtful words. From that day onwards, she started paying for her girls' school fees and catering for all their other needs. She would borrow money from the microfinance banks to finance her business and support her all the more. This made her indebted to so many individuals in the village. And they would come to demand their money from time to time. Sometimes she hid whenever she saw those she owed money to. A few months later, Mrs. May was ready to bring forth the baby. She delivered a beautiful baby girl. It was a successful birth, but everyone was not happy, including Mrs. May. She knew that all was not well, especially what would be her husband's reaction to seeing that she gave birth to another girl. When the news got to Mr. Gentle, he was furious. He didn't even bother to visit the hospital and see his wife and new baby. He got home and started packing all his wife's belongings. "You and your useless girl children would leave my house today. Am sick and tired of all this girl child you keep giving birth to. Am going to marry for myself a worthy woman who will give birth to as many sons as I would want." When Mrs. May came back from the hospital with the new baby, she met her loads and belongings outside. She cried and begged, but the husband was made up. She had no choice but to carry her things and her girls and leave the house. Things became even worse for her, as the burden of taking care of herself and her kids was too much for her to bear. She started living in a small hut on the other side of the village. A few friends and loved ones who heard what had happened to her were not happy. They pleaded with Gentle to please accept his children and wife back to the house. One of their neighbors said to another gossiper, "Why would a full-grown man do such a thing to his wife? See these beautiful girls, they would grow up tomorrow and become great in society." "My dear, don't mind that man. I even heard his new wife is pregnant. Let's all hope it's a boy the woman will give birth to." But Gentle was adamant. He said he was already tired of girl children, and he couldn't keep wasting money on training them in school. Gentle married himself a beautiful lady, and she took in immediately. He would take care of her and pamper her, and days turned into months, and before long the new wife went into labor and also gave birth to a baby girl. Another girl. Gentle shouted when the doctor told him congratulations on his wife's delivery. Gentle was so confused because his new wife now also giving birth to a girl, and he was happy one bit. 5 years later, the new wife now has 3 girls. Gentle would ask himself, is it that God only wanted him to have just a female? Even marrying a second wife didn't give me a male child. Now there are even more female children. There were rumors all through the villages about Gentle. He would be hearing whisper while he walked past some persons in the village. Many make jest of him. This would make him very shy because he knew that the villagers always make jokes about him. Whenever he is passing near the village market, they always talk and murmur. They would say, "He thinks marrying a new wife will give him a male child. Let him now marry more women. After all, the village is blessed with beautiful medians." I am not surprised that he marries more than 5 women in search of a male child. Mrs. May's business was doing very well. She started selling food items in larger quantities to people in other nearby villages. This made her business grow even more. With all the money she made from her business, she sent all her daughters to good colleges. When they finished college, they became successful businesswomen. Some of them got married to rich men and had happy lives. Gentle heard about his daughters' weddings, but he was too ashamed to go. He didn't want people to see him because he knew he had done something wrong. Years later, Gentle got sick and couldn't go to the farm anymore. His crops and farmland were not cared for because he was sick. Gentle's second wife left him when he got sick. The fancy life she had with him was gone. She took all of Gentle's money and left with her daughters. Gentle was alone in an empty house, sick, with no strength, no children, no wife, and no one to help him. When his sickness got worse, he started asking May for help. Gentle was very poor. He had no money to pay for his hospital bills or even to buy food. He was all alone with no one to take care of him. Even though he was sick, he kept sending messages to May and her daughters asking for help. When May got the messages, she was angry. She said, "After all I went through, this man has the nerve to ask for my help after all these years." She and her daughters ignored the messages. They said that Gentle deserved what happened to him. One day, May got a message that her husband was dying and she should come quickly. She felt sorry for Gentle and decided to go. She found him lying helplessly on the bed. The room was very dirty and messy. When Gentle saw her, he was very happy. They hugged, and he said, "You are still my wife, the woman I married first. I love you so much. Please forgive me, my wife." Tears filled May's eyes as she looked at her husband. In a soft voice, she said, "My husband, you sent me away to marry a younger woman. I left with 8 children, even a newborn, to an unknown place with no shelter, no food, and no money. We slept outside in the sun and rain. Feeding us was a big problem for many years, let alone education. I practically went without clothes to take care of our girls. I borrowed money from friends and even enemies just to feed my children. I didn't buy clothes for myself for many years and wore rags because my children were my priority. I did small jobs like cleaning just to put our girls through school. It wasn't easy at all. Now, after all this pain alone, you ask for forgiveness." She cried. "But I forgive you, my husband. My greatest happiness is that our girls are doing well, and I am a proud mom." She smiled and said again, "I forgive you." They both hugged, crying tears of joy. "I bear no grudges anymore. You are my husband and the father of my children. You are forgiven, thank you, my wife, you have a big heart," Gentle said. "Please send messages to our daughters. I need to see them and ask for their forgiveness." They hugged again. "I will bring them all to see you, my husband," May said. She then helped clean up the room. At first, the girls didn't want to see their father because he had disowned them. But May pleaded with them, saying he was still their father and they needed his blessing, even though they were doing well without him. Eventually, they agreed to meet with their father. The next day, May came back to Gentle with all her beautiful daughters. They had all grown up and were successful women. When Gentle saw them, he cried tears of joy. He hugged them all and he was very happy to see them. He felt very blessed and happy. They hugged him back. They were also happy to see their father. They forgave their father for what he had done. It was a blessed reunion for the family. Gentle was very happy that his daughters had forgiven him. Gentle said, "Now I can die in peace, knowing I have asked for your forgiveness. Girls are as priceless and important as boys. Even my new wife didn't have any boys like I expected. Now I understand that all children are a gift from God and are equal." They all hugged together, crying tears of joy as they sobbed together.